going on, guys? We need to take a look at the C2X. It's been a while, haven't really done a whole lot with it other than make the bed sides and stuff for the back and fabricate the front bumper. And yeah, try to address some of the issues today. One main problem, I feel like the way this is set up, I don't have an issue with the plastic axles. I know a lot of people take offense to that, it seems like. But the main thing that the plastic axles don't provide is weight down low. And I feel like that's a part of this rig's problem. Is it's not top heavy, it's just lightweight. It needs some more mass, it needs some mass down low. I don't really know how to go about getting that short of metal axles. And I don't have any metal axles because, you know. So we're going to try to work some ways around that. We're going to re-engineer some stuff. The second issue that I do know how to fix, and it hadn't really bothered me, that everybody that watched the video seemed like commented about it. And that's where the front axle placement is in line with the wheel arch of the body. This camera is set dead center with the driver or passenger front door handle, basically. And it does accentuate that a little bit. The curvature of camera lenses does exaggerate things at the edge of the frame. But it does set back a little bit. Let me get you a straighter shot. Alright, so dead on looking at it, it is a little bit to the rear. And you can see there when it's compressed, we've got about 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch in the front. The thing is though, under full lock, we do have clearance, but we don't in the back. So, we're going to move the front axle forward, I would say at least 5mm. That's also going to help another issue. Let me pull the body off here, we'll look at that. Alright, so I got it straight above it as I can get. So this is a 3-link in the front. Cannot put a 4-link because the transmission, R3, what they call that, RC4wd drive, you can see where our link is over here. There's just not room with transmission there. And you could raise transmission, but then you're raising center of gravity. The main issue is the link arrangement in the front. So you can see our panhard bar is far forward of the axle. Our steering had to be way far forward because just of the layout. I think ideally it would have been better to put the steering link on this side, put the servo long ways over here so you could put the horn angled back. But this position you have to angle the servo horn forward, and in turn that pushes your steering arm way out front. Now I did rearrange some of this and cleaned up a lot of the slop, and we tightened up the servo settings on the radio and all that, and it made a world of difference. We've got good steering range, and this thing does not lack in steering, and it's a decent servo that it comes with, so that part's all good. But I do want to, when we bring all this forward, it's gonna fix some of that. The only thing we have to watch out for, let me bring you down here again. The camera doesn't like up close shots. We bring that down, we don't want our panhard arm hitting the top of the axle, hitting the pumpkin. And right now we've got about 5mm of space, but I think that's gonna go way quicker than we think moving that forward. The steering arm will be fine. There won't be any issues with that angle. We'll just straighten out. We'll have to recalibrate the steering on the radio, no big deal. But we got to watch that panhard arm. One thing I have noticed as well, you can see here, the panhard arm mount off of the axle, that is weak. Just compressing this, I can see that bending and flexing just under up and down travel of the suspension. If I had to say, if you're really bashing this thing, that would probably be the first thing to go. I don't know if you can get a metal upgrade for that. Figure you probably can, knowing RC4wd drive. But yeah, so I'm going to pull the 3 links off, and we're going to see, because these are a larger diameter rod than RC4wd drive typically uses, and I'm hoping I can still, all of my standard 3mm type spacers will fit it. So we just got to see what we can do. improved it. Not happy with the plastic sliders. Those are off that RC4 drive terrain truck that was just a repurposed Geelong 2 D110 long wheelbase chassis. That truck was worth its weight in gold, though, for the price it was when they discontinued it, and all the parts that I got off of it. But those sliders actually line up with holes on this chassis. I haven't looked. I don't know what they offer for this chassis. I haven't seen any bumpers and sliders and stuff available yet, so I don't know. I think I moved the rear shock mounts forward to the furthest forward hole, moved it up 2 holes, and I think that really helped take care of some of the stiffness in the rear. It was way too, it's too light. That's still the problem. And lengthening the front wheelbase, I had some spacers. Those are the little threaded rods that hold the rod ends to the actual links. They are a larger diameter. I think they're 4mm. And I had some plastic ones off of some off-brand links I got on eBay a long time ago. And they work great for the lower links. The top ones I didn't have any for, so I had to drill out some standard spacers. And yeah, didn't move it too far forward, so the drive shaft still works. I was kind of worried about that. I don't have a longer shaft to swap in. But I think the lengthened front suspension and the angle of the rear shocks now, it gets a little bit more droop. You see, it looks like it's sitting a little lower. And seemed like it'd help. I don't have the right place here at the house to really test this rig. It's so much more capable than the other ones. So the sliders, again, I don't really care for them. They are plastic, but this thing really needs some sliders, and they are a little bit low. But I think I've got some plans. I'm going to make some steel ones, and that hopefully will get some more weight down low. And I think we're getting there. One thing I did feel like, it's kind of on-off throttle response. It's very, and that was on a 3S. That was on one of mine, what are these, Helios. It's a 3000 milliamp 3S. And yeah, it kind of was on-off throttle, kind of jerky. And the steering servo is lacking a little bit for this size tire. Now when you get these new, they come with the steering dialed way down. And there may be a reason for that, because when you're up on the rocks at a hard angle, that servo just doesn't quite have the oomph to really move those tires when because they're soft and they're grippy as all get out. So I think maybe electronics upgrade maybe in order. Maybe we can get us a nice Holmes Hobby motor to put in there, and some kind of good servo. But the sliders did help. Even though they're kind of ugly, but it needs that. I was thinking about maybe making a roll bar for it, but I don't want weight up high. That's the issue. So we're going to have to make some really heavy sliders for it. Looking back, needing the weight low, we should have made a little beefier front bumper. But if you haven't checked out those videos, check them out. I also did away with the screws for the body mounts, put some rod ends in there. It works alright. This has the full back wall in it. It goes all the way down. And that did come loose a little bit from prying the body on and off, but it's no big deal. It's still held in there just fine. Like I said, I don't really have a good spot to crawl. I usually go down to the local boat ramp, and they just closed all the state parks today because of this mess. So keep it scale. I'll see you on the next video.